Days Gone first arrived on PlayStation 4 on April 26, 2019, marking Bend Studios' bold leap into open-world survival gaming after years of supporting other franchises. Critics gave the game mixed reviews at launch, praising its dense environments and tense encounters with swarms of freakers, while calling out technical hiccups and repetitive side missions as drawbacks. Now, despite that, the title sold over 7.3 million units by February of 2022, and later surpassed 8 million once its PC port was launched. Now, providing that the passionate player base valued the experience more than initial scores suggested, in 2019 Bend Studio pitched a direct sequel to Sony, only to have the proposal turned down, leaving many fans to wonder if Deacon St. John's story would ever continue. And over the time, support launched petitions and social campaigns with six-figure signature counts urging PlayStation to change course and greenlight Days Gone 2. And so on April 25th, 2025, just a few days before, Days Gone Remastered officially released for the PlayStation 5 and PC, giving players a chance to revisit Oregon's forests and highways with next-gen enhancements. The update brings higher resolution options, longer draw distances, richer shadows, and more detailed lighting, alongside PlayStation 5 specific features, of course, such as DualSense haptic feedback, variable refresh rate support, and Tempest 3D audio for more immersive soundscapes. New gameplay modes arrived as well. A Horde Assault arena challenges you to survive ever-dense freaker waves, a perma-death difficulty setting raises the stake drastically, and a built-in speedrun modes tests how fast you can clear core missions and open-world events. PC players receive these extras as paid DLC, complete with the customizable graphics settings and support for the ultra-wide monitors, ensuring no one misses out on the new content. Since launch, the remaster has earned overwhelming positive feedback from users. On Steam, 92% of the over 71,000 reviewers are quite positive, reflecting widespread approval of the technical improvements and new features. Metacritic shows a 9.5 user score based on more than 100 ratings, an impressive mark labeled universal acclaim that beats the original receptions despite the lack of the former kind of a critic score so far. Fans on Reddit have celebrated the release, with many saying that this remastered version feels kinda like new, and well, in some capacity it is, even after hundreds of hours invested in the PlayStation 4 version of the game. And of course, a minority of the voices on forums, like as an example Push Square, noted that the update kinda feels like a $10 engine tweak rather than a full overhaul, calling it something like a nicer looking 7 out of 10 rather than a transformative update. Still, the vast majority agree that revisiting Days Gone in sharper detail and smoother performance is more than worth the modest upgrade fee. And with the remaster already out and performing quite strongly, many are asking if this renewed interest can finally push Sony to approve Days Gone 2. Industry observers argue that PlayStation will watch the remaster sales and community engagements on PlayStation 5 and PC. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyes going into this remaster, and sales and encouragement feedback can definitely perhaps sway to some certain degree. And according to the recent analysts, the fate of Days Gone 2 hinges largely on how a remaster edition performs in the coming months. If Sony sees robust sales and ongoing player activity, it may justify funding a full sequel project. Bend Studios' original sequel pitched in 2009 was rejected, but community enthusiasm has also grown since then, amplified by a remaster's success and a vocal support on the social platforms. Earlier in 2025, Sony cancelled Bend's work on a planned live service game as the company pulled back from expensive online titles. In response, Bend Studio community management reassured fans that studio still plans on creating cool stuff, leaving the doors open for alternative projects, including a potential sequel to the Days Gone. And at the same time, Sony's recent decision to scale back on high-budget multiplayer games underscores a more cautious approach to a big investment. Nonetheless, that retrenchment freed up Ben's team to pitch fresh ideas built on the original game's proven engine and world building. Now, even so, modern AAA sequels typically need to promise a strong critical and commercial return, far exceeding break-even thresholds, to secure green lights from the major publishers. If Bend Studio does receive the go-ahead, the groundwork laid by the original and the remaster offers a clear path for a sequel story and the gameplay. Narratively, a direct sort of continuation could explore Deacon's reuniting life with Sarah at the Lost Lake, delving into the strains of rebuilding trust in the desperate world and teasing new threats tied to Nero's shadowy experiments and Dr. James O'Brien's lingering presence. Fans have long speculated that a sequel might center on finishing Sarah's cure research or confronting rival survivors, factions, kind of like those in the power vacuum left in the end of the first game. In the gameplay side, next-gen hardware could support far larger, more dynamic freaker hordes, more complex AI behavior, and expanded world systems. Imagine rivers that require careful planning to cross on the motorcycle, wildlife that actively hunts both humans and freakers, and an environment hazards like wildfires that forces players to reroute. Bend originally eyed co-op multiplayer for the first Days Gone, and many believe that teaming up to clear hordes or defend settlements with friends would immediately inject fresh energy into the franchise. Additionally, tech recovered from Nero's labs such as deployable turrets, experimental weapons, or healing drones could round out kind of like a toolkit that feels familiar and yet leveled up from the original arsenals. And accessibility options already expanded on the remaster could be built even deeper in the sequel, ensuring that players of all skill levels can engage fully with its story. The release and reception of Days Gone Remastered have reignited hope that Bend Studio Biker Saga isn't over. With the overwhelmingly positive user score on Steam and Metacritic, plus vocal fans' praise across the social channels, the remaster has demonstrated that Deacon's world still resonates strongly with players. As Sony observes remaster sales and engagement, every new horde survived, and every glowing user reviews adds weight to the argument that Days Gone 2 could be a sound investment. While nothing is guaranteed until an official announcement, the combination of strong remaster performance, a passionate community, and a studio eager to build on its own engine makes the prospect of the sequel feel more possible than ever. For now, fans will ride through a Cascadian backroads once more in the remaster, but their eyes are already looking ahead, hoping that this renewed momentum will finally bring Days Gone 2 into view. Thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe, see you guys all, and have a wonderful day.